Pozicija.
Sveiki žinių radijo klausytojai, čia laida Pozicija, prie mikrofono Aušra Jurgauskaitė, o šį kartą mūsų studijoje vieši Vokietijos ambasadorius Lietuvoje, daktaras Cornelius Zimmermannas. Sveiki.
Labą dieną, gerbiama Aušra. Kaip malonu būti čia. Aš noriu išmokti kalbėti lietuviškai, bet dar nedaug kalbu.
So next time we will speak in Lithuanian when you are
I will
here.
give it a serious try, but thanks for the warm welcome.
Okay, so Mr. Ambassador, first of all, you are working in Lithuania since the end of the August. I wonder, how do you find it here so far?
Well, I think I got a great welcome by Lithuanians, and I'm impressed by what I see. It's especially the resilience of the Lithuanian people, and what really deeply impresses me is the empathy and support for the Ukrainian people. I mean, you see it on the buses, you see it on the municipal building, you see flags elsewhere, everywhere, and that is really impressive. And it shows a strong commitment from your side. I think a commitment which sets an example for the whole of Europe.
I hope it does. We will speak definitely about Ukraine a bit later, but right now I want to ask you about probably the main thing that is on every Lithuanian mind right now when we are thinking about Germany. It's the brigade that we are waiting for here, 4,000 troops. How high is this question on your agenda while you're working here?
I think it's uppermost on my agenda. I think I have three priorities. I exaggerate a little bit. The first one is security, the second is security, and the third one is security. And Minister Pistorius, our defense minister, labeled the brigade as our flagship project for the German Zeitenwende. So that's the change in German security thinking. And I think it has now become the flagship of our bilateral cooperation, and that is why I'm putting a lot of effort, most of my time, into making it happen.
In what stage you would say right now is this task? Because we hear a lot. We hear a lot about the treaties that will be signed.
Yeah.
We hear a lot about the visits that are coming. But still, what is known? For example, the number of people that will be coming here and so on. What could you tell us?
Well, I don't think I can give you every detail because it's an ongoing process. But during the last 3 months, we received a lot of visitors to that effect. There's a constant exchange between the two defense ministries. And there is a strong political backing from the highest political level, from the German side, but also from the Lithuanian side. And I can inform you that we are planning to send around about 4,800 soldiers and 200 civilian staff. And why are we doing so? Because we believe that this will help to strengthen the deterrence in Lithuania. And this is something we are doing to help our ally and partner and friend. But we are also doing it in our own interests because we believe in the indivisibility of security. So your security is our security, and basically we are, how shall I say, we are investing in the security of the eastern flank of NATO.
But what are the expectations from our side, for example, on infrastructure? We know that many people is coming, so what are the expectations?
Of course. I mean, soldiers need to have housing, need to have buildings. And so this is a sort of two-way deal. We will provide the troops, and to be more specific, these will be highly mechanized combat troops. And from your side, the understanding is that you will provide the infrastructure, training ranges, facilities for ammunition, facilities for the vehicles, housing, schools, etc. So all what you need in order to accommodate a full brigade in Lithuania.
So 2027 is the date that was been called by German side. We are saying that we will prepare everything by the end, I think, of 2026. So what's it gonna be, 2026 or 2027?
Yeah, good question. I think it will come in stages. I think there's no use in having soldiers without housing, but there's no use in having housing without soldiers. So I think it makes sense to build step by step the presence of German soldiers in Lithuania. So what you need is a very good coordination between the two sides. And I think that's what is just going on. I see that there is a lot of communication, understanding going on. And I feel really very much assured that by the end of this year, we will be able to sign a roadmap, which will give us a timetable for the successive deployment of troops in Lithuania. And if I may, Aušra, I would just like to explain why we need schools. I mean, we unfortunately have to assume that our soldiers will not just stay for a couple of years. I think we are in for a long-term investment, and we want soldiers and their families to feel at home. And we also want them to, how shall I say, to create bonds with the Lithuanian people, because this will strengthen our bilateral relationship, and it will also strengthen the relationship between the soldiers and the Lithuanian population. I think that's important, that it works two ways. And I was born in Western Germany. In Western Germany, I grew up in a divided country during the Cold War. And we had in our zone, or in our sector, we had American soldiers. And they established very good links with the German population. We felt safe, and Germany could prosper during that time. And we had no preoccupation about our security.
I hear right now that that this decision is taken very seriously, but before there were those articles saying that it was a surprise for everyone in Germany about what the defense minister said, that the brigade will be in Lithuania, and also there were some doubts in Lithuania if Germany will keep their promise of being here. So how would you evaluate on that? Is it over, those talks like that, about the surprises, about doubts? It's done?
I would say so. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I arrived in summer this year, and the statement of Minister Pistorius, which he made in June, this question whether this should be a debate for Lithuania or in Lithuania was brought to an end, and we have a definite answer that these 4,800 soldiers and the 200 civilians will be stationed in Lithuania. So that's a very clear concept, and let me just underline what I said, if I may. I think it reflects the effect of the Zeitenwende, so the change in our thinking on defense and security. So first of all, the brigade has become the flagship. So we want to send a signal. And we have understood that this is not only about your security, it's about our security. And we are now defending NATO security together in Lithuania on the eastern flank. And I think that's, together we are stronger. That's what we feel. And I think we have a number of commitments. The Chancellor said that as of now and for the foreseeable future, we will devote 2% of our GDP to defense. We have also decided to double our military assistance for Ukraine. So I think these are a number of decisions which are indicative of a different attitude. And that's an attitude which has the backing of a defense minister, of a chancellor, so of a government, also of parliament and of wide parts of population. I think that the aggression of Russia against Ukraine is like a game changer for us. And massacres like those at Bucha certainly had an effect on the public perception of our security.
Would you say that it was war that connected even more strongly Lithuania and Germany?
I would say so, Aušra. I think pressure brings friends even closer together. And I think what we clearly see is that this is, first of all, of course, a war against, an aggression against Ukraine. But this is not just the war against Ukraine. It's an attack on the international law. It is an attack against fundamental values, and it's an attack against the European security order. And I think investing in our security or investing in Ukraine, that's not charity. It's essential to safeguard our own vital interests.
We also have strong ties through our economy because of the trade with Germany, Lithuania, I mean, of course. But we hear that Germany is having quite a hard time on their economy. We can hear a word like recession, stagnation, or whatever. So to finish maybe this topic about the brigade, would you say that it can affect in any way the decision, the plans of brigade being deployed here in Lithuania, or no?
I don't see that. There's such a strong commitment, and it's impressive to see the dedication of the people in the ministries who have been tasked to implement the ministerial decision. I mean, the minister raised the question of a brigade at the most recent commanders meeting. So that's a meeting of all the military generals in Germany, which takes place annually. And there he clearly labeled the brigade as his flagship project, and as the flagship, not only as his personal flagship project, but as the flagship project of the Zeitenwende as such.
So moving on, the war in Ukraine, we saw those promising claims which you mentioned, that Germany is doubling its military support for Ukraine. On the other hand, we hear those claims that the West maybe is getting tired of helping Ukraine. How does it feel in Germany? I mean, from the claiming that you will double the support, it would be obvious that no, Germany is not tired, but we see our allies, the situation in US. What does it tell us?
Yeah, well, I think you're right. I mean, speaking about Germany, I feel quite comfortable as far as the support for Ukraine is concerned. Although currently the media are dominated by news from the Middle East, the German federal parliament just decided to double the military support for Ukraine. So my line is that we have to support Ukraine as long as it takes. And Germany so far has been the second largest donor and supporter of Ukraine. We invested 24 billion euro so far. We have decided on extra steps. You know that there are plans to attack the Ukrainian infrastructure, especially in winter, and we are helping to build a winter protection shield by providing anti-aircraft material, Iris-T and Gepard and Patriot. And we are also investing in the mid and long-term perspective of Ukraine. The economy is not going as well as we would like to see it. Therefore, in Germany, we will be hosting in summer this year an investors conference, and we also want to attract more than 1,000 participants, also private investment, to help Ukraine. And we should not forget the people. We are currently hosting 1.1 million Ukrainians in Germany. And surely, I mean, we have to continue our support. And let's say we, as your country, we are trying to set an example. And of course, we are talking to our friends, allies, and partners to do the same. I mean, the Ukrainian people need our support. And as I said before, this is not just about Ukraine. It's also about us. It's also about the future, and our credibility, our security, and our well-being. So I think that needs to be properly explained, that this is not something we can do, but something we have to do.
But on the other hand, we hear those talks with Russia. Maybe there should be the peace talks between Ukraine and Russia, and that Ukraine is being pushed for it by partners from the West. Do you feel that it's true? Can it be true? What's Germany's position on it?
I think Germany's position is very firm on that. As long as we have an ongoing Russian aggression against Ukraine, I think peace talks are definitely not in sight. And ultimately, it is Ukraine's decision whether and when and under which condition they want to enter in any peace talks. And President Zelensky has made it very clear that the territorial integrity and the independence of Ukraine are the cornerstones of any such negotiations.
Talking about negotiations, we heard the European Commission saying that they recommend for Ukraine to start the negotiations for becoming a member of European Union. And we are waiting for December for leaders to decide and take this step forward. Is Germany on board?
I do think so. I can't speak on behalf of our head of state and government, but what I can tell you is that according to what our foreign minister said, I mean, it is basically Russia's aggression which is leading to an integration of Ukraine in Europe. And she has clearly said that she expects the German government to vote in favor of opening accession talks with Ukraine.
Unfortunately, we hear Hungary's position. They are quite skeptical, let's call it like that. Do you think there are any kind of tools to change its mind?
Yeah, we have diplomacy and we have bilateral talks. And I think that ultimately we have to engage in a serious discussion on that. I think backing Ukraine is something in which Europe has proven to be very successful. Let's just walk back to February 21. I think few people believed that Ukraine would be able to withstand the Russian aggression, and even less they're optimistic that Europe would show unity. And I think talking about a Ukrainian accession to the EU, it's the hour of showing that the same resolve in support, in continuing our support for Ukraine.
What about accession to NATO? We know that the summit, of course, was here in Vilnius. Yeah. Everyone was having high hopes in society of Lithuania that maybe it will reach some sort of any idea what might the next year bring? Is it even possible, seeing what's the situation right now in the front?
Well, the summit in Vilnius concluded that the future of Ukraine is in NATO. But I think that holds true. But let me just talk what is needed now. What do the people there need? I think they really need that support. And they need ammunition, they need arms, They need foodstuff and energy. So I think it's very important that we sustainably continue supporting Ukraine and thereby take them closer to NATO membership.
Last question about another war that we are having, Israel and terrorist organization Hamas. The fears that it will take away attention from Ukraine, the fears of rising terrorism in the world, and of course anti-Semitism waves. What outcomes does Germany see? How would you say that this situation should be over?
Well, our position is well known. I mean, we firmly condemned the barbaric and terrorist attack of Hamas against the Israeli people. And we strongly hold the view that Israel has right to defend itself and that they have to defend themselves against an ongoing attack. There's still rockets being fired at Israel, but of course with full respect for international humanitarian law. I mean, we also want that the protection, the humanitarian aid for the Palestinian people will be reinforced. What shall I say? I mean, ultimately, I think the solution in the long run or in the mid perspective can only be in a negotiated two-state solution. That's something we have been advocating for a long, long time. I know that in the height of this conflict, that doesn't seem in near reach. But honestly, if we have the Israelis and the Palestinian people sitting down at the negotiation table and negotiating an agreement on a two-state solution, living in peace side by side, I think this would be the ideal outcome. And maybe a crisis can also lead to a breakthrough in that respect, because people say that they can't continue going on like that.
Thank you very much for your time. Ačiū Jums. Kalbėjome su Vokietijos ambasadoriumi Lietuvoje, daktaru Corneliumi Zimmermannu laidoje Pozicija. Iki kitų kartų.
Pozicija.